Hello! Today, we'll be looking at the top 10 biggest busts in Dokkan history. I define a bust as a unit who was severely underpowered or just never really panned out. Do keep in mind that these lists are carefully calculated through an intense algorithm. And with that being said, let's jump right into the list. Coming in at number 10, you have STR, Angel, Golden Frieza, and Ultimate Gohan. Now, these guys really just don't do pretty much anything well. They do not get defense in their super attack effect, which automatically is just a terrible start. They do, however, seal, which is pretty decent, especially for Super Battle Road content, which was the main difficult content at the time they came out alongside the God event. They got 120% attack and defense start of turn, which is solid. They also had attack enemies, attack and defense minus 30% when performing a super attack. But unfortunately, that's only for the rest of the turn after they perform their super attack. They also supported the Reps of Universe 7 category with 2 key and 20% attack and defense. This, of course, during a period where 3 key and 40% attack and defense support type units were prevalent, just a shaft for no reason. They also had a great chance, which is 70% chance of guarding all attacks when performing a super attack if there is another Reps of Universe 7 category ally attacking in the same turn, which is just a bizarre restriction. A 70% chance to guard after performing a super attack, and there's a category restriction in that you have to have a Reps of Universe 7 ally attacking in the same turn. Just a very bizarre design choice. And of course, they also did not have amazing links due to it being just a random assortment of characters, right? Gohan and Piccolo don't really share any categories or links, which leads to them having things like Speedy Retribution, which I believe used to be solid support. But still, they had mainly bizarre links choices. They had a couple gems in there, namely Cold Judgment and Tournament of Power, which they share with the entire Universe Survival Saga team. Shocking Speed isn't bad too. And of course, they're not on very many categories due to, of course, an odd assortment of characters. But it's just unfortunate because you can really see the basis of a good character here. You know, they support, they debuff, and they seal. They have guard. Just a few character design tweaks and they would have been pretty good. But unfortunately, they just don't really do anything well. Especially coming out during the 6th year anniversary, you had essentially the same exact chance of pulling these guys as LR Evolution Blue Vegeta, which this is in terrible taste. That's STR, Angel, Golden Frieza, and Ultimate Gohan at number 10. Moving on to number 9. Coming in at number 9, we got the God. Not really. Int Android 16. Whoa. Super awesome. Now, the problem with 16 is he really just shared no relevant categories with the unit he was designed to be with, AGL LR Gohan, or any other Super Saiyan 2/Super Saiyan Gohan from the Cell Saga. He also had only a high chance of guarding, but that wasn't really the main problem. He was very tanky. He also, of course, had no super attack effect, which is just, come on, man, like, really? Massively lowers defense for 80%? Disgustingly bad. And then this guy is basically worthless if you don't have him on Gohan. And they share, I believe, 2 categories now, but for the longest time, up until like a year ago-ish, they only had 1 category, which was Android/Cell Saga, and that team wasn't in a great position in a couple months after the release of AGL LR Gohan and LR Cell, the Int one. Overall, this guy just completely failed to be the dominant buddy for AGL LR Gohan. And of course, they wanted to be on rotation together, and they share how many links? 1 whole link in Fierce Battle. Wow, that's great linking partnering. Just a very bizarre, terrible design, disgusting, and thus gets him the spot of number 9 on this list. Moving on to number 8. And at number 8, it's Tech Hit, baby! Global First! Now, we all know the Global First Tech Hit Christmas celebration was really good. I mean, when you have a banner looking like this, you know you're cooking, man. I mean, oh my god, look at the banner. Horrendously bad banner. And then, of course, you have the problem with Tech Hit having no defense, or attack for that matter, on super attack effect. 30% chance to stun, which is nice. Absolutely no start of turn attack or defense. He did debuff enemies for 2 turns, which was nice. That was, solid. Also had a high chance to stun the attacked enemy for 1 turn. Got 120% attack when performing a super attack. And then an additional 80% attack and super effective against all types when the enemy was stunned. But notice I did not say defense anywhere because he had no defense prior to his EZA.
What?
Kind of insane. He got absolutely obliterated in mildly hard content. This guy would probably be taking damage in Dokkan events. Like, it's disgusting. He had solid links, Universe 6 category characters usually have pretty decent links, but I mean, brother, like, no defense? Like, come on, what are we doing? He was like mid, maybe solid, I'd give him on release. But I mean, oh my god, he did damage. Whoa, damage. It's just frankly embarrassing that they made this a global first, honestly. But I mean, we all know how bad that celebration was, so I mean, is it really that surprise? Honestly, you could probably argue Tech hit even higher, but he's going to come in at number 8. At number 7, we have LR Physical, Angel Golden Frieza, and Android 17. Oh boy, truly one of the anniversary units of all time. Now, they did have a solid leader skill, but that is where the good parts of the passive stop. Again, no defense on 12 key super attack effect, no defense on 18 key super attack effect. You already know we're off to a great start.
Oh, hell no!
Their passive skill, last remaining key, consisted of 70% attack and defense start of turn, a great or 70% chance of launching up to 2 additional attacks, plus an additional attack and defense 7% up to 70%, and key plus 1 up to 7 with each attack performed. So essentially, they built up like Heck Vegito Blue. They also got 7% damage reduction and crit chance with each attack performed in the turn, up to a max of 4, because that's the maximum amount of times they can attack. It doesn't stop there, though. They also had an active skill, which could be activated upon performing 4 or more super attacks in battle. And the effect was 7 key and 77% defense and guaranteed crits for the turn, which is a really good effect. But of course, the condition of performing 4 or more super attacks is very RNG dependent. At the earliest you could get this was turn 5. And assuming you only super attack once per turn, this is a turn 9 active skill. Pretty good. Again, like STR, Angel Golden Frieza, and Ultimate Gohan, they have pretty odd links and not that many categories. They were never really as dominant as a Part 2 LR should have been. They were okay defensively, and they were okay offensively, except for on that active skill turn where they were pretty good defensively and offensively because of the guaranteed crits. Ultimately, I just feel that they were very underpowered, especially compared to LR AGL UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta and the unit they came out with. But that's number 7, Angel Golden Frieza and Android 17. Moving on to number 6. And at number 6, you got the GOATs! Piccolo! Technamic Saga Piccolo, oh boy. Now, of course, it's just so easy. These super attack effects being completely worthless because they don't give themselves defense. It's just, oh man, love it. Piccolo's passive, quick-witted. Wow. Attack and defense 60%. 60%! A 2021, okay. Plus an additional attack and defense 20% at the start of each turn up to 60%. Plus an additional attack and defense 20% with each attack performed. A high chance of randomly creating key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres. Recovers 6% HP per rainbow key sphere obtained. Technamic Saga category allies 3 key, 40% attack and defense. Now, essentially the problem with this guy is he released alongside Inked Third Form Frieza, who is one of the, if not the best banner unit in the game, and this guy just sucked, right? He was doing like 1 million attack stats with like 120k defense. Like, come on, dude. Like, really? Disgusting. Like, this is horribly bad. And once he was fully built up, he was still mid. Like, come on. Terrible. Terrible. Like, I don't even know what we're doing with this one. He was just severely underpowered, like grotesquely underpowered, especially when you compared him to Inked Third Form Frieza. I mean, there's really not even like much you can say about this guy. Like, he was just, his numbers were way too little. 180% attack and defense fully built up with no super attack defense in either his super attack effect or on super attack inside his passive, I mean, I guess he's supported, but this guy's gonna get you killed. And, you know, he created orb changing, but like, come on, dude. It wasn't even guaranteed. Seems like Dokkan just grotesquely overrated his support and rainbow orb changing capabilities. Because wow, was this guy bad. He's gonna get number 6. Let's move on to number 5. Coming in at number 5, we have a really good EZA, but I mean, we all know what this guy was like before his EZA. It is Exchange Tech Majin Buu. I hate to, you know, sound like a broken record, but again, super attack effect, no defense. Oh boy. And then, no defense in his passive. Wow. 40% damage reduction, and he had like 150k defense. Oh man, we're cooking. If even that. Honestly, that's way too high. This guy might have struggled to get 100k defense. Like, brother, come on. On turn 3, he'd go into Evil Buu. Now, this guy wasn't much better, but at least he sealed on his super attack effect. Oh man. Still no defense in his passive, 40% damage reduction, 50% chance of stunning the attacked enemy for 1 turn. Oh boy. 30% chance to dodge. Busted. And then, of course, you have the exchange condition, which is 4 turns after exchanging into Tech Buu. Meaning, at a minimum, it's technically turn 6 for some reason. If you float him off, it's turn 6. But, I mean, if you keep him on rotation, it's turn 7. And, of course, once he exchanged, Super Buu is actually very good. But, like, come on, dude. I mean, apparently we didn't learn our lesson with Tech Hit. A unit with no start of turn defense is just not good. Shocker. It worked with AGL Zamasu, but that was because he released a whole year prior. I'm not sure what we were cooking with this one. Either way, Tech Buu is going to come in at number 5. Moving on to number 4. And the top 4 is some of the iconic of the iconic. Number 4, Tech Super Saiyan 3 Broly. Oh man. What a monster EZA. And again, I'm just going to continue to repeat myself. No defense on super attack effect. Oh, massively lowers defense. 80% defense. That is so good. Not really, because lowering defense doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything. Especially in 2020 when this guy came out. It was, oh my god. At least he's got start of turn defense. 120% attack and defense. 12 key and 6% defense. Except he lost defense, not gained. It was minus 6%. And then medium chance of launching an additional super attack with 3 or more tech key spheres obtained. That is tech specific, not just key spheres. Alongside not creating any key spheres. Great. Now, honestly, when Tech Super Saiyan 3 Broly came out, he was solid, right? But he was the first 120% EZA released. And once the others released, we quickly saw that this guy just was super underpowered compared to the other ones, right? STR Janemba was very good. The Super Saiyan 4s were very good. Int Gogeta was very good. Physical Cooler was great. Hell, Tech Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku created his own key spheres and was a nuker just like this guy, although it was with rainbow key spheres. Just very, very sad to see what happened to this guy, man. Like, he was so severely shafted compared to the other 120% leads. It's sad. They screwed the boy over. He also was one of the few Super Saiyan 3 category characters to not have over in a flash. Wow! Really great design choice, Dokkan. And of course, he's only on 4 whole categories because he's a Make-A-Wish made-up character. Disgusting, Dokkan. You disgust me. Number 3, it's LR Super 17. Now, I have absolutely nothing good to say about this guy. He is horrendous. Moving on to no, I'm just kidding. Now, first of all, later scale. GT Boss's androids, 4 key, 150%. I mean, if we just, look inside his passive, he leads GT Bosses but does not get buffed from GT Bosses like he gets buffed for Android and Target Goku category allies. Very good design, Dokkan. And if we look back at his super attack effect, is that every single character on this list who does not give themselves defense on super attack effect? Great job, Dokkan, you're so good. Like, God, dude, lowering defense is just the most worthless thing you can possibly do in this game. But it doesn't stop there. No way, Jose. Reduces damage received by 17% plus an additional 17% attack for 3 turns after the turn in which an attack was received. Oh, wow. So essentially what that means is you will not have that 17% damage reduction or that 17% attack the turn that you get hit. No, you have to wait until he comes back again on rotation. Then you'll have it active, and then you'll only have it active for 1 turn. Then you'll have to activate it again on his next rotation, and you'll have to repeat the process. Really, just beautiful design. Oh man, it doesn't stop there though. No. High chance of 1 key with each attack received, up to 7. To this day, I believe this guy is still the only unit in the entire game to have a chance of getting key each time they get attacked. LR Full Power Jiren came out like 11 months before this guy and had guaranteed key each time he got hit. Awesome. There's more though. His active skill can be activated after the character receives 7 or more attacks in battle, and it lowers attack and defense by 17% for 1 turn. And now let me just tell you that that effect is completely worthless anywhere that's going to attack you 7 times in the fight, because you're just not going to be able to lower their attack and defense by the time you get this active, especially for a unit that came out in 2021. Also, he does not have big bad bosses, and he leads the GT bosses category. Is he the only final boss in GT that doesn't have big bad bosses? I believe so. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, this guy he disgusts me to talk about. I'm just gonna move on, bro. Like, I could rant and rave about this guy all day. Here we go, baby. Number 2, you got Physical Raditz. Arguably the single worst major release in all of Dokkan history. Now, it's actually interesting because Raditz on paper does not seem all that bad. For example, he leads the Saiyan Saga in Pure Saiyan categories, which, hey, I mean, Pure Saiyan is a good team. And whoa, defense on super attack effect, they know how to do that? But here's where it gets real, man. Supreme damage to all enemies, man. Oh, that's really good, isn't it? A mid multiplier. Couldn't even give the guy immense because he would have been so broken if he did a tiny bit more damage. No, I'm actually downplaying it. The fall off from Supreme to immense at SA10 or super attack level 10 is 430% to 505%, which actually is a pretty big difference. His passive skill, Raditz Enforcement, 150% attack and defense start a turn, okay. Plus an additional attack and defense 50% when performing a super attack when facing only 1 enemy. Plus an additional 100% attack and a high chance of performing a critical hit when performing a super attack on an enemy whose HP is 50% or less. Plus an additional 150% defense and performs a guaranteed critical hit within the same turn after receiving an attack when facing 2 or more enemies, and 2 key for the rest of battle after delivering a final blow. Oh man! Now let's just get right into it. The problem with his passive, he did legitimately no damage, and there was 0 chance you were putting this guy in slot 1 to get hit before he attacked. And for him to actually do any damage, he had to be facing 1 enemy who was under 50% HP. And of course, you know, there's 0 chance you were going to get a final blow with this guy, man. He did no damage unless, again, as I said before, they're under 50% HP. He also had an active skill, Raditz's Retribution. Oh boy. Can be activated when facing only 1 enemy after the character receives an attack 3 or more times in battle. Brother, if you let Raditz get hit 3 times in battle, you might just die. Even post super attack, his defense wasn't great. But hey, at least his active skill was funny and he stunned the enemy. His link set isn't terrible, but it's also not super great, and he's not on that many teams. Essentially, Raditz is just very mid. Like, if you ever thought of the definition of the word mid, you'd just imagine Physical Raditz. AGL Captain Ginyu came out almost a full month prior to this guy, And AGL Cell and STR Goku and Gohan came out a couple weeks after this guy. I mean, I guess it makes sense that he released on April Fool's Day because, oh brother, man, this is rough. No bueno, no bueno. Raditz is gonna get the number 2 spot on this list. Moving on to number 1. And at number 1, the algorithm said it was so. It is LR Ultimate Gohan / quote-unquote Beast Gohan. Oh boy. Now, on paper, this guy is actually not all that bad. Honestly, he's pretty good. He led the superhero and hybrid Saiyan categories, which was a solid team. He had pretty decent super attack effects. Actually got defense on them, both. Oh boy. He got guard for 3 turns, assuming there was another bond of parent and child category ally on the team, which is very easy to have. He also got an additional 100% attack and defense as a result of that entrance animation. He also got 150% attack and defense, start a turn, 1 key per key sphere obtained, you know, the LR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan mechanic. He got 30% attack and defense up to 150 with each super attack performed. He also launched an additional attack with a 70% chance of being a super attack when key was 20 or more. And then he was super effective against all types when key is 24 or launching his active skill. And he also had a 50% chance of nullifying Ki Blast super attack effects. Now on paper, his passive is not that bad. But the problem was, in practice, there are some issues. Namely, this guy very heavily struggled for Ki, as he does not get Ki itself anywhere in his kit. Sure, he had the LR Gohan mechanic, but that was not good enough for him, especially as he had no prepared for battle, and his only Ki link was shocking speed. He also needed to launch super attacks to build up his passive, rather than just normal attacks. If you got unlucky and the 70% chance to launch additional super attack didn't proc as a super attack, you were SOL. Moreover, his active skill, which was just a beautiful animation. I mean, this is probably still the single most beautiful animation in the game's history. Just stunning animation. The active skill condition, honestly, is very good. It can be launched when all allies in the attacking turn are superhero category allies, starting from the 3rd turn of battle, or when facing one enemy starting from turn 6. And it essentially does like 2 million damage and then nullifies an enemy action. I mean, this guy's problem was that he was just severely underwhelming. For a character that we had waited like 8 months for, to wait those 8 months and to be getting this, especially with the fact that Beast Gohan only was this guy's active skill, it was just severely disappointing. LR Orange Piccolo had a giant form, which was amazing. And Beast Gohan's active skill wasn't even that good. Not that much damage because this guy does not stack attack in his super attack effects. Now don't get me wrong, Beast Gohan was great, but he was a tad bit underwhelming and you could not just use Beast Gohan, the card you wanted to use. But it is what it is. Now we got LRSTR Beast Gohan, who makes up for this guy, man. He's so good. But that's gonna be Beast Gohan, Ultimate Gohan, coming in at the number 1 spot. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of my list. If you thought anybody was snubbed off the list, or if you think the order should have been different. Also, let me know any suggestions for any top 10s you'd like to see. But that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for watching, and most importantly, thanks for stopping by.